Oh yes, Andrew Garfield, the cool Spider-Man, the edgy Spider-Man, the mysterious Spider-Man, the one that only looks good in the daytime Spider-Man, the MAFEX fuck you guy Spider-Man. I mean, this figure looks pretty good, but $2,000? That's a beater car right there. In all honesty, though, did have this figure laying around for quite some time. I mean, I've probably had him around for about a month and a half, maybe. I remember he showed up and I thought he got stolen because they left him at my back door instead of my front door, and I was like panicking. But and then I got inside, looked at him, and kept him in his box and showed him in the corner with the rest of the figures that are building up a mountain. I recently just rewatched this movie with my girlfriend, and wow, I forgot how much I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I mean, yeah, he was great in No Way Home, but going back to his older movies, it's been a few years since I've watched the original one, so getting to sit down with my girlfriend and rewatch this again and kind of re-experience it, because it's been so long I kind of forgot some of the things I really love about this movie. And I've always been on the side of absolutely loving this suit. A lot of people hate on it, but I've always loved it. I've always thought it really looked like it was made by a teenager, and it was scrappy, and I just loved it. Anyways, I guess the point of this whole video is to say thanks to CT Toys for... Fuck you. For, not having us to do that. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Here he is. Look at him. He looks great. Here's his box. Usually these CT boxes are really fucked up. Like, the plastic's kind of weird on this, but actually kind of, you can see I like his eyes. They don't look weird. They don't look bad. I don't know how I feel about those eyes. Never mind. Anyway, let's look at the back. And you got some product images of him kind of just hanging out, shooting webs at people and jumping and squatting and standing. And it says products may differ from photos. Probably because those are photos of the actual MAFEX, obviously. And, I checked that age constriction, so hell yeah. Don't let CT or AliExpress catch you buying this figure if you're not 15 or up. They'll send a bomb to your house. Anyway, let's get this figure out of the box. Because this box isn't, anything crazy. It's just some different renders slapped on different backgrounds. But yeah, let's kind of rip into him a little bit. Now, alright, I'm going to rip into him, as we see. I don't know why I recorded this part. But I feel like I should add it in because this could be some great awkward commentary, because this part likes to go on for a little bit. And yep, here we go, ripping the box. That's how you get figures out of boxes, in case you don't know. I'm wiggling them out there. Yep, I'm doing this play-by-play so you guys figure that out. The stand and stuff. Yep. All right. And let's get to the next clip now. Or not. Oh, all right, here we are. So he comes with this SHF stand, which is great. I actually prefer it over the MAFEX ones because I already have a few of these, actually. They hold up a lot better than the MAFEX stands. And as we see, he comes with 4 different pairs of hands, which are pretty nice. Some webs, but let's take a closer look at these in the accessories. He comes with these 2 web shooting ones. This web swinging one, they can place between the swinging hands things. And here are his different kinds of hands. He has these fists that look pretty nice. First impressions, painted really well. You can see, it just looks really good. I really do like that. You can see, the lines are very clean on it and stuff. Those black little lines, and it looks really good. I really do appreciate CT's hard work to not make it look like a heaping pile of spider shit. So, yeah. Those are his fist hands, and, they're fists. These are his normal hands. I don't know what I have him doing here, but, maybe his eyes are sensitive. He's blocking his eyes. These are, the resting hands. They're kind of just whatever. I call these the thumbs up hands, but these are like the web grabbing hands. You know, you can put the accessory we talked about earlier in there and make them swing from it. Oh, all right, there goes the hand. But yeah, I call these the thumbs up hands. We got these web shooting hands. That's where you put the accessories that I was talking about, the web shooting accessories earlier. You put them around the wrist and snap the hands on, and it looks really good. Here's his sprawled out / wall crawling hands, and these hands look great. As you can see, they look really well painted, just as all the other ones. Now, this figure is based off of the MAFEX figure, obviously. But this was actually the very first MAFEX figure they ever made. So the articulation is slightly different, but it still works really good. As you can see, the head has really good motion. Can go back really far and can look down really far. And obviously it has that great tilt, you know, either way. And since it's on a joint, obviously you can just do a 360, and it has really good head. But yeah, the presentation of this figure is really good, and as you can see, next I'm gonna hold on. He's kind of falling here. Sorry. Yeah, I mean he has these drop down kind of joints, like I said, which aren't on the new figures, or not as much as anyways. So what I noticed, but that is definitely a little dated, but it still works really well. I mean, if you really like have this figure in hand, you know he moves really well. Like, look at that articulation in the elbow. You know, just like a normal MAFEX figure, the double jointed in. You can kind of see the shoulder is a little like hindered because it's kind of raised. So like that's kind of the farthest I can do it without it popping out like it just did. But that's still some pretty good, like I would say, range. You know, it's all right, but it's, you know, it's good for what it is. You know, I think they kind of had to sacrifice a little bit for the sculpt, but I think it's really worth it. And there goes the other hand. Let me just kind of put that back on there. All right. Yeah. So, he has his little bicep swivel, and his, you know, he can go back that far, and you know he has minor gappage, but it's really not that serious. And he can kind of crunch forward that much without using his like lower body, which isn't the best, but like I said, sacrifices had to be made for the sculpts, and you know it's alright. But now you can kind of see how his legs are. So they go up high, but they kind of move out a little bit. But that doesn't really matter. You know, great leg articulations, like in the knees. The knees look awesome. He kind of swivels, and again with the drop down joints for his legs as well. You know, no problems with any of the legs. This figure moves really smooth, just like butter. And you know, we can kind of do the 360 thing with the waist, the swivel and stuff. This figure definitely can, for what it is, it has a really great range of motion. I really do enjoy this figure and playing around with him. It's definitely probably one of my favorites in my collection. He has a toe articulation. You can see the paint job actually on the bottom of the shoes is pretty fire. It's like that silver that kind of stands out. I just really like that when I was looking at this figure. But yeah, let's get into some paint things, I guess. The eyes, I don't know how to feel about them. I kind of really like them, but now I kind of feel like they're too yellow, if that makes sense. Maybe if it was like a lighter yellow gold, I would be really content with it. But it's also really interesting, and I do really like the look. Now, moving on to his torso, the paint on this, again, is actually really pretty good. I'm actually really pretty happy with this. You can kind of see, like, how the lines kind of from the spider go into the sculpt. And it's kind of be hard to see, but I really, really like the back spider. It looks really good. You know, you have the black lines down there that are painted really well. This right here is a little bad. You can kind of see that the red leaks into the blue sections a little bit, but you know, it's no really big deal. I mean, it is a bootleg, and otherwise it's really well painted. He has that spider ass, and you can see this this little pattern slash texture here going throughout the entire suit on the blue sections, and it looks really nice. And you can see it going along the red as well. I don't think it's the same pattern, but it is a different pattern, and I also think they did an amazing job with these web shooters. They look really nice and really well painted on these figures for being so small. Yeah, I mean, I think the colors on this guy are really good. Moving down to like the legs and stuff, you see how, he has the red stripe going down. And I think the boots look really nice, like I said. I really like the silver, and it's really, really interesting to me. I think they did a great job, like I said. I really do really like this figure. And here's they have the sculpted work at the bottom of the feet, which is a nice touch. They didn't have to do that, but they did, because CT goes out of their way to make sure their bootlegs are exactly as perfect as the original sometimes, or maybe even better. Here he is posing around, and like I said, the articulation is slightly dated. However, that does not stop this guy from getting into some badass fucking poses. Look at this guy. That is an awesome stance, and he looks amazing doing it. No pun intended. Like I mentioned earlier, I was always one of the few people in the Spider-Man community, especially back then, who really did enjoy this suit. I mean, yes, I'm only 17 years old. I remember when this came out, I was just a little young lad, but, I remember liking the suit, and I actually ended up getting out of comics and Spider-Man and stuff, but when I got back into it, I fell back in love with this suit. I always thought the sunglass lens was an awesome concept and a great idea, because realistically, that is exactly what my lazy ass would do if I was Spider-Man. Is it practical at night? Probably not, but like I said, it's exactly what my lazy ass would do, and it just makes a lot of sense as a teenager. Anyway, this figure is really awesome, and I think we should probably compare. Here he is to the actual MAFEX Homecoming Spidey, and you can kind of see that the scale is kind of crazy. Andrew almost looks around the same height as Tom, which isn't accurate, but it gets the job done. And here he is next to my Toy Biz Spider-Man 2 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figure. And like I said again, the scaling's not perfect, but it definitely gets the job done for what it is. Now, my final thoughts on this figure is, it is definitely a saving grace from CT Toys. I think bootlegging is typically wrong, but in this sense, it kind of saved the people who really wanted this figure and can't afford it. I mean, yeah, the scaling is not exactly how it is, and he is on the smaller side, but he is definitely worth the cheap price point. He's even cheaper than Marvel Legends. And with that, I'm going to end this video on a high note. I think you guys should definitely grab this figure, and that's going to do it for this video. Spider Pimp out, and thanks for watching.